The Wire, season 4, episode 10. Um, so what I want to talk about first from this episode is uh, one kid out of the group of kids that we were introduced at the beginning of this season. Um, it's pretty much been spelled out at this point what happened between him and his brother's father. Multiple kids, multiple fathers, whatever the case is. Pretty much spelled out what's happened to him. You know, um, so but the bad, I guess, the to put a cherry on top of that situation, he sells his soul to the devil. What I mean by that is he turns to Marlo, who's been trying to recruit him for, I'm assuming, some type of uh, shooter position. They have a position open for a shooter, right? Or they guess they consider him to have qualities of a loyal soldier, or something like that. So he turns to them to get rid of the guy, and they take the guy down this alley, and these two individuals I've seen in throughout this episode, throughout this season. I apologize. Throughout this season, I don't know why I'm apologizing. Throughout this season, taking other people in abandoned houses and doing what they have to do. You know what I mean? Putting a bullet in the head, which is merciful. I'll say that much. Quick shot to the head. You might. Who knows what it feels like? So I've never been shot in the head. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you do feel some type of pain, but then you're off to the afterlife, right? So they've been doing that, putting lye over the bodies, which I think accelerates decomposing. I'm assuming. I don't know. Need to figure it out. I'm not gonna look that up. I don't want that in my search history. How does lye work on a dead body? There's no way I want to work that. Well, I know from a movie that lye it gives you a chemical burn. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So instead of them taking him into the abandoned house to do what they've normally been doing, the male, because it's a male and female in this group, the male is asking him all these questions. Oh, you like little boys? You with a woman? This, that, and third. Dude's like, nah, man. I like pussy. This, that, or whatever. So the guy, I guess he has all this rage built up, and instead of him being merciful and just putting a bullet in the back of the guy's head or somewhere in that general area, he beats him to death, which I'm like, has to be one of the most rewarding deaths in all of the TV shows and movies that I've watched. I have to go back and like check my memory banks to see if it is, but it's up there. It's probably one of the most rewarding that I've seen. So that's out the way now. What's I talk about? Oh, I should talk about. So there's a program. I think I mentioned it. Well, of course I had to have mentioned it. There's a program with. They selected a few kids out of the school system who exhibit the most destructive behavior. I guess I'm just putting words together, trying to sound smart at this point. So they've taken these kids and they're studying them basically. Not I guess that's a bad way to put it, but that's what they're doing. They're trying to figure out how these kids operate and why they do the things they do. I mean, they pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think it sounds really what they're saying. I can understand. They're saying, yeah, these kids aren't stupid, but they're preparing themselves to go back out there on the street corners, not to come into society, I guess. But they're training themselves to go into their own society. That makes more sense, right? But there's all this pressure from higher up in the school system to get these kids back into class and feed them, not feed them, get them back into class so they can boost up these percentages on these tests, these standardized tests. Man, trust me, coming from the school system, it's, of course I wasn't a teacher, but I was a student, and I know the struggles that teachers go through, because you read their face or you walk in accidentally on two of them talking, and they're, so it's a very stressful job, especially when you add on this nonsensical testing just so you can keep a job and keep the school funded. So you got that going on, but they're pressuring them to end this study. They don't like it, and it's not even that many kids. It wouldn't even. I don't even think because I don't even think that amount of kids would affect the percentages that much, up or down, right? But apparently they want it over with, which is what it is. You know what I mean? I just hate to see it, something like that end based on some bullshit. Um, what else happens in this episode? Oh man. Um, yeah. So I forgot the character's name, but he's been in and out of the series for at least 2 seasons or something like that. Uh, he's an individual on the political side of things. He's playing the mayor elect and the police commissioner. He's playing on both sides, all the while getting money in his pocket. Real piece of work. In my opinion, I think he should be beat to death, just like that pedophile I was talking about in the beginning of this video, right? Uh, Almost the same thing to me. They're a poison on society. That's just what I feel about it. But even though this is a fictional show and it's made for entertainment, still don't like that character, not one bit. But yeah, he's playing both sides, putting money in his pocket, which is causing the thing is, the mayor elect wants to fire the police commissioner, but he can't fire the police commissioner because he's afraid of what people will think, and he's afraid of how will affect his term as mayor. Okay, so the police commissioner from his friends who basically know the game, air quotes, knows the game. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes. I don't know what these mean. Friends of reference. But anyway, he's like, well, he finds out, he pretty much finds out, hey, he's afraid to fire you so you can do whatever you want. So he bucks back. Now he's got all kind of habit going on because he's trying to, in his eyes, he's trying to do something that he would want to see, but it's not necessary, but it's not what the mayor elect will want to see or considers good. So you've got that going on. You talk about McNutty. No, I'll talk about Kima's old informant first. So she's no longer in a position to use him because whatever, right? So she pushes him off onto Herc, another character, who's in a great position to use him. Now, instead of Herc making it a two-way deal, he's basically pumping him for everything he can, and he's not helping him out anyway. But the CI is in a bit of a jam with an individual. Basically, every time he sees this guy, he gets robbed and beat up. Every time. He's like, hey, man, all you got to do, I'll give you whatever you want, but all you got to do is get him off me, man. That's all you got to do. Seems like every time he calls, he fails to answer the call. So the informant does something that's pretty clever. He's looking for drugs, right? Basically, the informant puts that character on a preacher and says the preacher has all his drugs when he doesn't. So basically, fucks him up. And I'm like, kind of deserved it. You know what I mean? He wasn't holding up his end of the bargain. Hey, it was a clever way to do it. It's kind of funny though. What else happened in this dang episode? God, there was something else in this episode I wanted to talk about. I forgot it that quick. Man, sometimes my brain don't work at all, I tell you. Talked about Bubbles. Talked about... Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So if you like me trying to remember an episode and give my opinions on them, it's me taking apart a pen, as usual. Check out some of my other videos. Breaking Bad, The Mandalorian, which I don't like, The Americans, Godfather in Harlem. All these shows I've done, and I also have a few movies up. I'm building that up as we speak. So check those out and subscribe. I like showing people how to subscribe. It's kind of fun, you know what I mean? You're gonna get a kick out of it. You just you like that. That's how you do. Boop, boop, boop. That's all you do, and you subscribe. No big deal, right? I just made my camera really blurry because my finger's super greasy. But that's okay, I can wipe it off. Yeah, go subscribe.